Alright, what's going on everybody? Anime Rainbow back with another episode. Today we'll be discussing Konoha's story chapter 1. This story is the second bi-weekly new Naruto series that is coming out. The first one is involving Sasuke, this one is involving Mira Sarutobi, the daughter of Sarutobi and Kurenai. And this particular manga takes place within the Naruto universe prior to Naruto being the 7th Hokage, right? You have Kakashi, who's currently the acting Hokage. He is prepping Naruto, he's sending him on missions, he's having him doing all these things, getting him ready to be the next Hokage. So this is a very interesting aspect of the Naruto universe. We were really glossed over all of Kakashi's Hokage run that he had to do after the 4th Great Shinobi War. So it's interesting to see him like that. It's interesting to see Shikamaru not pulling his hair out every single chapter, dealing with Boruto and everything that's going down in that main monthly series. But here we have Mirai, who is still working to become a full-fledged shinobi. Alright, she is a genin. She is on a mission currently. She goes off on a mission. She has to find a cat. It's very reminiscent of what we had to see Naruto and Sasuke do when they had to find the cat. It's very reminiscent of what we saw Itachi do during the Itachi Gaiden series, where we saw his flashback and finding the cat. So there's a lot of parallels that you'll see going back to Itachi's past, going back to Kurenai's past. It's funny if you think about it, if you know their whole transaction, what we did, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. So she has to find the cat, so she's out on the mission, and she gets ahead of herself, right? She's a young shinobi who is trying to prove herself to become a full-fledged shinobi. She is a genin at the academy, and she has this mission along with her team. She goes out ahead of them because, you know, she's eager to prove herself, and she runs into somebody named Mizu, who is a part of the bingo book. He is an assassin, and initially when she had ran into him, Mizu was gonna let her escape. Alright, she was gonna let her go. He was gonna let her go, excuse me, and Mirai just could not help herself. She had to run her mouth. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I know who you are. You're a character out of the bingo book. You're an assassin. What are you doing here? You were banned from," like, you know, she's just going off, right? This man has already turned around at this point and is about to walk away. An assassin letting someone live who has seen his face is beyond me. But, you know, he was feeling himself today. The moon was aligned just right. The stars were falling just how they needed to be. The planets were in powerade, retrograde, doesn't matter. He hears her say all this stuff, and he just sighs and was like, "You know what? I was really gonna let you live. I was gonna let you go back home to your family. I was gonna let you take the cat and exit stage left, but you just had to go and prove a point, and now you have to lose your life." What I didn't mention about this character Mizu, I kind of glossed over it, but when we first are introduced to him, he's talking to himself. There's no one around, or supposedly there's no one around, because Mira is like being sneaky, watching him, listening to him, hearing what he has to say, and he's basically saying that the era of shinobi is over. I don't know why, because throughout this entire manga, or this first chapter, they're using ninjutsu and genjutsu, so he's clearly versed in using chakra, yet the era of shinobi is over. I don't think so, because he's rocking just this pistol revolver. I don't even know where this thing came from. I didn't even think this universe had guns like that, but you have to kind of suspend reality for a second there. You got to think that eventually they have to get to these scientific ninja tools, right? They have to start with pistols, right? You have to start with pistols, handguns, maybe some grenades, and work your way up to the scientific nanobot technology that's able to regenerate limbs. You got to think that. But he does the body flicker technique. He gets inside of Mirai's personal space, and she jumps back. She evades it. Very good reflexes. But he says something that was interesting, and he says that the bingo books got something wrong, right? The bingo book says that this one individual is Mizu. Mizu is not one individual. Mizu is 7 people altogether, okay? It's a group. With that being said, Mira is completely outnumbered in this situation, and surprisingly enough, she's still holding on to the cat. Put the cat down, alright? It's a 7v1 situation. You need to keep your head on a swivel. So her plan of action is to use this jutsu in order to capture all of them in a genjutsu. She does it. It looks incomplete. It's very reminiscent of what Kurenai used to try to capture Itachi. We all know how that went. Mizu and the gang, they break out of it. They break out of it, and she again puts herself in a situation of not running away from a situation that she could clearly try to get away from. There's nothing there that's holding her or tethering her to that location other than her just being stubborn and wanting to prove herself to be this full-fledged shinobi, and it almost got her killed it almost got her killed in the first chapter. If Shikamaru did not pop up when Shikamaru popped up, if Kakashi did not pop up when Kakashi popped up, she would be done at this point, because by the time they get there, Mizu, or at least the leader of Mizu, is choking her out. Shikamaru pops in. Shikamaru is using the the Knuckle Busters. I actually don't remember what they were called. He's using the Knuckle Busters of Asuma's to pin down the shadows. Kakashi comes in, he's using all of his jutsus, and it's just a pleasure to be able to see Hokage level Kakashi doing Hokage level Kakashi shit without the Sharingan, because keep in mind, Kakashi had a reputation well before the Sharingan. In a perfect world, this is how he would have been fighting had nothing had happened to his teammate Obito. And it's just interesting to see. He's using Purple Lightning, he deals with the whole situation, eliminates Mizu very easily, and he gives Shikamaru time to talk with Mira, because this is a very teachable moment. This is something that is lacking wholeheartedly in Boruto, that teacher-student relationship, because, I mean, who can really teach Boruto and Kawaki anything about being aliens when they have never been aliens before in this capacity? It's a completely foreign territory. This gives you more of a holistic type of feel to the characters due to the fact that this was a very sensitive moment. Mira was completely outmatched, and had she had been alone, or had she had been what we know her to be, in charge of other students, she would have been a liability, not to just herself, but also to the people that are putting their trust in her to keep them protected. So with Shikamaru and Mira having that heart-to-heart, Mira breaks down and was like, I don't think that I'm ready. And Shikamaru gives her that speech like, no, look, the fact that you can recognize your own fault, the fact that you can say that you're not ready and you lack in these certain areas, it brings more credence to the fact that you will be a great shinobi in the future. This, of course, flashes back to his fight that he had with Tamari, and the fact that he was the only genin to be promoted to a chunin during the chunin exams, because of the one fact that during his fight with Tamari, he recognized the fact that he was out of chakra, he recognized the fact that he wasn't going to be able to fight, and the chunin exams have never been a death match to begin with, right? You can say, hey, I give up, hey, I don't want to fight, and that be done with it. I think Konkuro actually did that, and he never actually fought Shino during the same tuning exams that Tamari fought Shikamaru, and that's what led to that whole fight between Shino and Konkuro once all hell broke loose and the Sand Village and the Sound Village actually invaded the Leaf Village. Shino was like, nah, run me my one, son. Like, you did not fight me at the arena, you gonna fight me right fucking now. So flashbacks, all of that, we get back to the main Leaf Village. Kakashi is sitting in the Hokage seat, and he gives words and was like, look, I think Mira's gonna be just fine. Alright, she's gonna become a great shinobi. Then we get to the time skip at the very end of this chapter, and then you get to see the young cat, the young kitten that Mira had saved is now an old cat. She is taller, she is growing up, and you see a little bit of Boruto in like the whole new generation of cast, symbolizing that they have progressed to a point to where Kakashi is in a position of just handing over the Hokage seat to Naruto. I want to see next chapter. I want to wait till next chapter to really be able to try to pinpoint where exactly this is. But with Kakashi and Might Guy about to go on their vacation to the Land of Steam, I can only imagine, and this is just my guess, that this happens about 2.5 years after the end of the 4th Great Shinobi War. If you haven't read Kakashi's light novel, I have that whole entire playlist on my channel. I will continue and finish it, but that was one of the last missions that Kakashi had went on before he gave over the reins to Naruto to take over as the 7th Hokage. So this is interesting, a big change of pace from what we know in the Sasuke light novel, or I'm sorry, in the Sasuke Now manga spin-off. Slight different from what we can see in that, but I look forward to covering both of those mangas. I look forward to covering more of Boruto as well. Hopefully these all tie together, because if I'm not mistaken, this, I don't know, maybe it's just too much headcanon. But I look at this, I'm like, why didn't Mita get a spin-off manga other than the fact that she is Asuma Sarutobi's daughter? Yes, Shikamaru is a very popular character, but she has never actually taken a forefront to anything plot-wise in the series. And now you could think, oh, well, they just picked a random character to give a spin-off manga to, but you have to think, like, why is this one, like, this is such a random person to give a spin-off manga to? I mean, my god, I mean, I think you could have more people who would be interested in anything involving the Hyuga clan than this random individual. You hear what I'm saying? But I do think, and this goes back to my theory that I have about Amato and who he is, as one of the Sarutobi clan members, specifically a possible child of the 3rd Hokage, maybe a brother of Asuma. This is giving more spotlight to the Sarutobi clan. I think this is definitely going to play a part in the Boruto series, because you got to think, Mita is a part of Naruto's protective detail as a Hokage. So whatever she does in this manga leads to her being a part of the protective detail for Naruto that says, hey, look, If shit goes south, I need you there to protect me. If anything happens with the Nine Tails, you have to also be able to protect the village. The one time, I think is the very first time we got introduced to her, it was her and the entire protective detail trying to create a barrier to suppress the Nine Tails had anything had happened. Now looking back on it in hindsight, Naruto and Kurama were on good terms. I don't see why they would have needed to ever contain the Nine Tails at that point. At any point in the future, possibly, but not now. Maybe they were doing some prep work in case they have to remove the Nine Tails from Naruto and give it inside of a new Jinchuriki. Then you would theoretically have to start the entire process over again. That happened with all the tailed beasts, including the Eight Tails. He was not fond of anybody that he was sealed inside of prior until Killer Bee came around. But that's just how it goes. But I think I rambled on long enough. If you made it to the end, thank you. If you're new, go plus ultra and smash that subscribe button. Let me know you rock with the content that I put out on the channel. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Comment on the video your thoughts about what you think is going on, how you're liking this new series, what do you think is going to come from it, and what is the overall plot? I mean, what can you really say at this point? I think we're going to start to see a lot of primitive scientific ninja tools. He had a revolver, not even an automatic gun. He had a revolver. Like, you had to crank back the hammer every time you wanted to fire it. This is clearly the foundation, the prototypes leading into the more scientific ninja tools, leading into the nanobots and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to like this one more than I'm going to like the Sasuke one, but it's lore nonetheless. So subscribe if you are brand new. I will keep the content coming frequently, as infrequent as humanly possible, and I'm out.